What if you stopped fighting yourself? What if the war you are fighting with yourself is the only war that was never real? What if the version of you that you keep trying to fix, escape, or become was never broken to begin with? Chapter 1. The War Within. Think about how much energy you spend resisting how you feel, resisting what happened, resisting who you are right now in this moment. You tell yourself, when things change, I will be okay. When I am different, I will be at peace. But here is the question nobody asks. What if peace was never on the other side of change? What if the resistance itself, the constant pushing away of this moment, this feeling, this version of you, is the only thing creating the pain? Ancient philosophers called it the fundamental confusion of human life. The belief that you are separate, that you are incomplete, that there is something wrong with what is. The Stoics said it. The Taoists said it. The Vedantic tradition built an entire philosophy around it. They all arrived at the same place. Suffering is not caused by life. It is caused by the refusal to accept life. So the question is, what are you still refusing to accept? And the answer to that question leads somewhere most people are afraid to go. Chapter 2. The Illusion of Two. Non-duality is one of the oldest ideas in human thought, and also one of the most misunderstood. It doesn't mean that differences don't exist. It means that underneath all differences, underneath the good and the bad, the light and the dark, the self and the world, there is one thing, one unbroken reality, and you are not separate from it. Think about the way you divide your own experience. Good emotions and bad emotions. Acceptable thoughts and unacceptable thoughts. The parts of yourself you show the world and the parts you hide in the dark. You spend your life trying to keep those two worlds apart. But what if that division was always an illusion? What if the darkness you keep running from was never your enemy, but simply the other half of the light? The ancient Taoist symbol says it perfectly. Inside the darkness, a point of light. Inside the light, a point of darkness. Not two opposing forces, one complete whole. The moment you stop fighting one half of yourself, both halves become something new. But knowing this is not enough. Understanding it intellectually changes nothing. So what does it actually take to live from this place? Chapter 3. The Practice of Acceptance. Acceptance is not giving up. This is the most common misunderstanding. Acceptance is not saying that everything is fine. It is not passivity. It is not weakness. It is the radical act of meeting reality exactly as it is, without adding the weight of resistance on top of it. The pain of loss is real. Acceptance doesn't erase it. But the suffering that comes from telling yourself it shouldn't have happened, that is optional. And that is the part you have a choice about. So here is the question to sit with today. Where in your life are you adding suffering on top of pain? Where are you fighting not the thing itself, but your resistance to the thing? Because the moment you drop the resistance, something extraordinary happens. The energy you were using to fight yourself becomes available for something else. For clarity, for movement, for genuine change. Not the change born from fear and self-rejection, but the change that comes from a place of wholeness. The philosophers, the mystics, the ancient traditions, they were not telling you to be passive. They were telling you something far more powerful. You cannot build a life of peace on a foundation of war with yourself. The acceptance of what is not the end of the journey. It is the only place the journey can truly begin. So let me ask you one final question. What would your life look like if you finally stopped fighting? 40 arba.